Okay. So, you asked me a direct question, and you want to know a story. What was the question you asked me? The words you used.
Who actually robbed Bobby?
Who robbed Bob?
Who robbed Bobby?
Well, according to everybody, it was me.
Apparently, that's not true.
Because currently, and apparently, Rob Rose's clout has been more than mine. But here's the full actual story. What happened? At this particular time, Bobby was, everybody admitted he was kind of being a dick to everybody. And he had some things in mind there because he was moving in and taking over the house that I lived at. And I was becoming a full-blown drug addict and decided I couldn't live somewhere where it was just going to be all the way around. So I asked him if he'd watch my stuff, and I took off for the summer. And I went, lived in my car pretty much, lived wherever. And I had a spot. And I was like, hey, I want to start getting some of my stuff. And he's like, oh, you can buy it. Because there was this gram. And when I was crashing at his place, because I came to crash, there was a gram that I was in a bad situation. I had to dip it out the window. And I threw it out the window. I went back and looking for it. Yeah, I should have made up that gram. Probably should have made that up before he died. And I never did do that. And that's bad. But he's being a dick about making me buy my shit back. I bought some of it. But what he's got that I care about most at this time is he's got a stereo of mine, like an old school fucking Techniques or whatever stereo. My head unit, tape deck, CD player, speakers, good stereo. And paintings of mine. But he also has, on this particular point in time, my W-2s, because he was supposed to do my taxes, and I gave them to him in fucking like January. And this might even be April at this point. Well, I called my buddy up who's got a truck, which is Rob Rose. Hey, man. Like, Bobby's in jail. Rob goes, you want to get him?
Huh.
I go, well, I want to get my stuff. And I had a key to Bobby's house. I had a key. I was the guy with the key. I think I had a key, his brother had a key, his mom had a key, and he had a key. So Rob's like, all right. So Rob comes and picks me up. We go over there. I go in. Now I know it's got a camera and a DVR. I go in and I go start getting my stereo. And Rob yokes a TV. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? You're getting them, I'm getting them. I'm like, I'm not getting them, I'm getting my shit. And Rob's like, well, we're here, I'm getting it. And so at this point in my head, this is what goes through. Rob is a road dog of mine. Like, we do dirt together. I don't tell another man how to live. I advised him not to, but I knew by the look in his eye it was happening either way. So I decided I was leaving my things. I did go get my W-2, which I wish they would have put it together and they could have seen that my W-2 was gone, but he never mentioned it again. I did get my W-2, and I watched Rob carry a couple TVs, a box. I do believe this box was containing ingredients, and like a TV stand. And when he was carrying out the TV stand, everything fell off of it out onto the porch. So this is my guilty hand. Watching my boy struggle, I helped him pick that stuff up, threw it in the back of the truck. Rob's done. I left my shit there. I'm shaking my head. I shut the door. We leave. Rob's trying to offer me money. I don't want your money. He's trying to give me a TV. I don't want your fucking TV.
Anything to keep you shut your mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
So I go get dropped off. And now this is on my mind. Well, I get a phone call about the time Bobby gets out saying that he got robbed. But he's yelling. He's like, they got me for everything. They got me for this. They got me for that. They got me for this. I'm like, I feel really bad for Bobby, but at the same time, I'm like, I feel good for Rob. I call Rob. I'm like, hey, you're in the clear probably. I said, somebody else went in there and they got him for everything. Rob's reaction was, what do you mean? He goes, you're lucky I went back anyways. There's a DVR. I was like, I know. I knew there was a DVR, which would have sanctified my clarity. I would have been there. Technically, I facilitated it. Well, Rob had gone back and got him for fucking like important shit. His rims, got him for, I guess he cleaned the house out. Well, Bobby called me on that day and was like, hey, I need a ride. So I went over to his house. Feeling guilty as fuck. He's trying to go through his mind on who it could have been. So we went through the who has keys to your house. My mom, this and that. My mom, you, and, my brother, I think. I'm like, all right. Well, he goes, the neighbor said they saw a red truck. And I know my mom's got this dude with a red truck. My mom, this dude with a red truck. This dude with a red truck. I'm like, Bobby, who else do you know with a red truck? I must have said it 15 times. Who do you know with a red truck? Red truck, red truck. He never would say Rob. Rob's got a red truck. He never would say Rob. So at this point in time, I let it go behind me because I feel like this. Yes, they're both friends. They're both good friends at this point in time. I'm not going to tattle. I'm not a snitch. That's one thing through all my life. I am not a fucking snitch. If I'm asked a direct question, I usually give a direct answer. I was never asked at this point, hey, who robbed Bobby? Who would have came in here? Who came in here? I might have been so inclined as to disclose that information. But I was never asked. I just kept trying to say red truck. Well, a couple months went by, and I was feeling guilty. Because Bobby put his arm around me one day, and he fucking just looked at me and said, dude, you're my best friend. Like, I choked up. I almost fucking cried. And I called two people who both know me, don't know each other, and both have nothing to do with this thing. And I told them what happened. And I said, do I tell them? Do I just go ahead and tell them? Because at this time, I'm beefing with Rob. And both of them, ironically, two different phone calls, two different people, two different sides of the fucking planet, said, let sleeping dogs lie, were their words. Probably best just to let sleeping dogs lie. Let sleeping dogs lie. You're going to fucking fuck up your shit because you're your hand in it. And I was like, yeah. It's just going to be hard to explain. Chris Belmont broke it down. So it's going to be hard to explain your little hand into it and them not think you're guilty. You best let sleeping dogs lie. I'm like, all right. So I do. Well, apparently, unbeknownst to me, Rob Rose has recorded that song Keys to the House, and he's shopping it around to everybody. Like, he's sending it directly to my friends' email boxes, my friends' Facebooks, my friends' phones. Just ting, 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 ting. Apparently, I was told by Josh that he heard me playing my guitar singing Keys to the House. Which I could see that happening. I could see me sitting in Rob's basement, talking, just toiling around, like, blah, blah, blah. And he's talking about it, like, oh, good thing I had the key to the house. And, as much as what that did was it brought Rob down a peg in my book, I guess.
Just one?
Just one. He was still my producer. He was still, at this time, this was before the beef. He was still at his house. I was still dumping all my shit into his computer. I was still sitting in his studio. I was still recording everything I did and sending it to him. Like, great stories. That Kissing a Dude story was hilarious. It was done the best I ever told it. The best. Chris Ross was the audience, and we were driving to, like, somewhere out of town. We were working out of town. We were driving maybe Southern Ohio. And I told the story. I kicked back and just told the story. It was great. And Rob took it and fucking pieced it up. And the only thing he did was release a bit of a video and just made it apply that I kiss guys, I kiss boys. But it's a funny story about my past. But where I fucked up mostly, the biggest fuck up I did was Joshua came over to my house. That's Bobby's brother. One of my best friends in the world. Man, I love to death. I would still die for, even today. Even though he don't answer when I call him, if he called me and said, I need you right now, I'm there. I'll die for him, I'll stand there in a gunfire for him. He come over to my house. I was staying on the other side of Elliott. We were just fucking around in the garage. He got me high. We were playing guitar. And just fucking out of the blue, he goes, hey, man, did you rob my brother? And I said, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what I said, but I feel like I told a lie. He asked me again. I feel like I told a lie again. And I know at some point in this whole thing, we were walking to the store, and unprovoked, unsolicited, I blatantly said a lie. Something to the effect, man, I had nothing to do. And he was disappointed, and I knew 3 lies. I knew I told 3 lies. And lying is something you should never do, especially to your friends, and especially when I had no guilt. I really had no guilt in this situation. But I told him, I was like, let me be the one to tell your brother. At this point, a couple people have asked me. His mom has asked me, a couple people have asked me. Allison asked me, which is Bobby's baby's mom. They'd asked me, like, about that. That's how I knew it was Rob was shopping around that song. I think Allison was the first person to play me the song. He goes, this is why I'm asked. Oh, shit. He goes, everybody's heard it. She said, everybody's heard it. I was the last person to hear it. Ever. He didn't give it to me. When I did a diss to him, I sent it directly to him and nobody else.
He wanted to make sure that everybody was looking at you.
Everybody heard it, right. And you know what? Me and Bobby had a talk. I had to wait till Bobby was on heroin pretty bad. And like, I was staying at his baby's mom's house and fucking teaching, reading, doing his kids spelling words. I taught Savannah how to ride a bike. And I'd go to his house all the time and tell him, like, hey, blah, 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 about this in the school. Thinking somewhere in his head he's going, why is Metal Matt teaching my kid to ride a bike? Why is Metal, But it never did click. So I knew me telling him the story wouldn't affect him. Well, this particular Christmas, it was the Christmas before he died, I was staying at his baby's mom, I'm fucking calling him. I'm like, you better fucking be here before your kids wake up. Like, told them you will be. You better be here. Like, I'm gonna fucking blow you up, start blowing you up at 4 a.m. I'll be here. He got there by the skin of his teeth. Like, seconds before the kids woke up, he walked in the door. Well, they had a good Christmas, and finally I was like, hey, I gotta talk to you. Let's go for a ride. And me and him went for a ride. I disclosed the same story I just told you now. And I told him I know court would have to go out, go back with your family, and like discuss it and come back to me. The only thing I will not accept as a consequence is losing you or your brother as friends. I will not accept that. If you got to beat me down, if you got to put me on probation, you got to make me do whatever you got to do. I don't want to lose you two as friends. And upon talking to Bobby, after that, like, everything was cool. He was cool. One of the last conversations I had with him, so I asked Joshua, I'm like, hey, why do you not, like, answer when I fucking call? Why do I go through all this bullshit? He said, quite frankly, I feel some type of way about what you did to my brother, was his words to me. And so I went to Bobby and I was like, hey, me, you, and Josh need to get together and have this conversation and talk it out. Bobby promised me he would. Then he died. But I never got a chance. And even then, I asked Joshua to sit down and talk to me. I wrote him a letter. I'd fucking gone to his house. I begged him. I would knock on his door. I'd fucking
Probably even
call him
harder for him now that his brother's gone.
every night. People are going over there. Finally I just asked somebody. Somebody just told me, Jesse just told me that he thinks I robbed his brother. And it's funny because people go over there and I ask them, I was like, why is he not here over me? And I know for a fact that they know because a couple people have asked them. Ian and my buddy Ian and his brother Jake were over there a weekend or two ago. And I was like, hey, ask him if he minds if I stop by. I'm mobile and shit. Oh, he's not here. Call him up. Tell him I'm coming by. Tell him if he cares. I'm at least going to kick with y'all. I can't get a hold of him. So I know with that being said, at least when he got home or whatever, somebody said something like, hey, care if Metal Matt comes over. And so they know, because Ian came over here shortly after that. And I brought it up. I was like, I don't know why you don't answer my calls. And Ian didn't say anything. Maybe it's not his place. I didn't ask Ian a direct question, so I'm not mad at Ian. I didn't directly ask Ian. And I feel like if I did, he would have told me. But I wish he didn't think I robbed his brother. And everybody's mad that I didn't divulge. I didn't tell Bobby right away. I'm not a tattletale. I'm not a snitch. Even after I had beef with Rob, I still kept it to myself. Because just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean you go tattle on them. Doesn't mean... If I was watching somebody's kids get raped, if I knew somebody was raping one of my people's kids, I would tell them. If I knew somebody was stealing from their grandmother, I might do what I can to point it out, but I'm still not going to tell them. I'm not going to be like, hey, Joe's stealing grandma's money. It's snitching, and my mama raised me better. It's none of mine.
Maybe I feel different. I feel like if you're doing wrong, I'm going to call your ass out. I won't tell the police.
I don't tell nobody.
But
I don't tell nobody about. I don't walk into another man's house and tell him about the way he lives.
Well, I'm not saying
That's a respect thing.
when motherfuckers doing wrong, sometimes they need to be called out.
But maybe they do. I mean, maybe I'm in the wrong because
I might wait for them to
it
be
breeds
alone.
with my loyalty. Listen, it breeds with my loyalty. It's part of what it is. It comes with it. I don't
a
change
double-edged
it.
sword, though.
No, I don't change it for nobody. I
It's a
don't.
double-edged sword.
No,
Who
I
are you
don't.
being loyal to? Him or your dude?
Listen,
I'm just saying.
I don't change it to nobody
I
for
don't
nobody.
know. I'm not saying that you should. I'm just saying, who are you being loyal to?
All right. So that's the story. I'm loyal to my people who I'm loyal to. I'm loyal to those who are loyal to me.
I was saying in that moment.
I was loyal to both of them. And then when shit hit the fan, I was always loyal to Bobby. I never stopped being loyal to Bobby. Just because I didn't tattle on somebody didn't make me unloyal.
I wasn't saying that. You're saying sometimes we waste our loyalty on people that aren't loyal.
Yes, we do. I wasted a lot of loyalty on Rob Rose and Stewart, that whole rank group.
The whole time I was listening to that song, I was thinking, Rob's the one that robbed that motherfucker. That's what I was thinking the whole time.
Is that before you knew the story?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't even know the story?
Yeah, that was the whole, because the only reason somebody goes through that much trouble to point fingers is when they're guilty.
Say that again.
So the only reason that somebody goes to that much trouble to point fingers is because they're guilty.
There you go. I guess the reasonable doubt in Josh's head is he heard me play a guitar and sing Keys to the House. Maybe I had heard the hook. I did a lot of things at Rob Rose's house. I played a lot of music. That's what it was. It was a recording studio. Maybe, and you know how manipulative he was. Maybe he had me inadvertently write him that hook without even thinking about what it was. Because there are plenty of times that he had people on record and me and him would make a little rap about it afterwards.
What's his name, Rob Rose?
Robert Rose. He's a snitch from what I understand now.
Sounds like Rob Rose is nothing but a bitch nigga.
But he ain't around, and it really sucks. If Joshua, you see this and you make it through to this point, I love you, regardless. I want you back.
Be my friend.
Won't you be my friend?